on a sunrise mission. I said I'd do it and I'm here. I'm here with Toby as well. The main reason why I'm finally doing it is because the weather's going to be clear today, so that's why I decided let's do it today. Yeah, I woke up at 5 o'clock to get here this morning, and I only had like what, probably 5 hours of sleep.
At least you got sleep.
I understand. Okay, so this is the thing. Toby over here, for some reason, just does not like to sleep.
I do like to sleep. I just like to get a lot of sleep over little sleep.
Yeah, but you choose to stay awake throughout the night and do work instead.
If I get if I'm gonna be getting little sleep, I'd rather just not sleep.
It's still good to get sleep though. Like 2 to 3 hours is still something.
But hey, get work done or sleep.
Sleep
probably
first.
say yes.
Sleep
No,
first.
honestly,
Honestly,
I choose sleep.
Fuck.
I choose sleep. Wait, no, I take it back.
Basically, I kind of want to show you guys my process of sort of getting into the zone with taking photos. It's currently 6:02 in the morning, and we still have to wait until the sun actually rises first, because as you can tell, it's still dark in the city. So yeah, we just have to wait around. Okay, since we're waiting here, I thought I'd bring up the first point that I usually do when I'm shooting street photography, which is I really enjoy listening to music when I'm taking photos. It helps me get into the zone. Like, I listen to a lot of R&B and soul music, and I just find so it just like lifts up my mood when I'm taking photos, and I like to convey the sort of themes and ideas that are played in the song into what I'm doing. So that's one of the tips that you guys could use if you want, but it's something that I find is a lot of fun. What about you? Do you listen to music much?
Yeah, sometimes, especially like shooting by myself, I definitely listen to like a lot of lo-fi.
Yeah.
Just like lo-fi is like really chill. It keeps me like very like not so stressed, especially when like shooting street. It's easy to get very stressed and overwhelmed, like so many people, so many things going on. So lo-fi is really chill, keeps you in the zone.
A little bit of light is coming up now, as you can see. I'm going to be shooting with obviously the 105 because it's a beast of a lens. Stops all the way down to 1.4, but the main thing is since there's going to be heaps of light coming through once the sun actually does come up, you're going to get really harsh highlights and really dark shadows. And if you really want to capture those light rays, you have to stop down to a minimum of f7.1 so you can capture those light rays and get those cool you can just get cool light rays in this shot. Alright, so I'm here at Burke Street now, which is a pretty classic shot to get if you do have a telephoto lens. All you really need to do is just to come a bit higher up, and you can take a photo down Burke Street, and you can see there's like nice trees that arch over the top, and you can see these really nice churches come up as well. The cool thing about sunrise is that it's the opposite to sunset in terms of the way the lighting works. So you start off with blue hour, which is like a really blue tinged lighting, and then it goes into golden hour, which is what we want, and then finally goes to regular daylight, which is the opposite to sunset. So keep that in mind when you are shooting. So if you do want to shoot some blue hour stuff, remember to wake up before the sun actually rises to take photos, and then golden hour actually happens afterwards. Slight issue that we've ran into. It's not that big of a deal, but as we're waiting for the sun to come up a bit more, I realized it's taken actually quite a while to actually get up, and if you can tell around us, the lighting is still really, really soft. We don't have a lot of that really harsh lighting we want for golden hour. We'll probably have to walk down a bit more where there's less buildings and where the sun has actually risen up a bit more, so that we can actually take some photos. Otherwise, we're sort of just standing in the shadows taking photos, and there's no real point to that. Okay, this is the lighting conditions that we want. It's nice and bright, you've got really long shadows. This is what you want. Okay, let's actually start shooting. the lighting conditions for the sunrise weren't what I was quite expecting. I was looking for more of a harsher golden hour type lighting where you would have really harsh golden lighting and like deeper shadows. So even still, it was a good learning experience regardless. So this is just a hypothesis. Since the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, usually the east and west facing roads of Melbourne get really nice golden hour lighting because obviously it lights up the street really nicely, you get really cool shadows and stuff. But I think what happened this time around was since Earth's axis is on like a really odd rotation and it's like a slight slant, what happens is that the sun actually rises diagonally compared to the east and west streets of Melbourne. So that way, as the sun starts to rise, it doesn't actually hit the streets, but instead it just hits the buildings and you just end up staying in shadows. And you don't really get that nice lighting even though it's sunrise time. But regardless, I still got some cool photos in the end. So as you can tell in these photos, I was in an area in the city where there wasn't any buildings to actually cover up the sun as I was taking these photos. So you get that really nice glow effect through the leaves and whatnot. How I edited these photos was I first chuck them into Lightroom, I apply a preset. The preset that I used was called Passionate Sunrise. I lowered the highlights of it and sort of adjusted the temperatures and stuff and colors a little bit, and then I put it into Photoshop. So once in Photoshop, I apply the Autumn effect to my images. So what you do to actually get the Autumn effect is you actually copy the existing image into a new layer, you go into Apply Image, select Multiply, and what you'll see will be these really weird like harsh shadows and bright highlights, and it just looks really gross, but it's fine. Go to your layer blend modes on the side and click screen, and what that should do is they should actually bring up the highlights and darken the shadows, and you can see it sort of adds a bit more contrast to the image. But this is where it actually really comes together. What you do is you go into Gaussian blur and you select how much blur you want. So usually, as a rule of thumb, the amount of pixels that you select is directly correlated to the amount of pixels in your camera. So for example, my camera is the Sony a7R Mark II that has, I think, like 45 megapixels. So I would usually go 45 megapixels, but it actually doesn't really matter. You can go above or below. It really depends on your taste. If you find the glow effect a bit too much, you can use the fill or opacity settings on the side to dial it down a bit and adjust to your liking. And you can always use the mask tool as well to soften the glow. What I did afterwards was I then added in some more gradients to complement the sun flare and to add a bit more color into the highlights. Usually what I do is I have a gradient of the two contrasting colors. So in this case, it's like a really light pinkish orange and like a really faded bluish purple. And I set that as a gradient, put it to radial, so it's like a sun flare in a sense, and then use the soft light blend mode to blend it in. So honestly, this is the same process that I've been using throughout all my dreamy edits as of recent. So hopefully you can take some tips from it and actually apply it to your own edits. So the quote of the day comes from Knaf, and they said, you don't need to be great to start, but you need to start to be great. And that's very true. You can't be the most talented person in the world and be able to know everything and anything inside and out. That's just not the case. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely sacrificed a lot of sleep, and so did Toby. Well, he didn't even sleep that night. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it. If you dislike it, that's fine as well. Leave a dislike as well. Comment down below if you want as well. I want to hear some more thoughts of yours and some more quote of the days. Subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, you don't need to be great to start, but you need to start to be great.